Empire Tales. Bayinnaung, the king who built the greatest empire in Southeast Asia. The first light of dawn touches the mountains of Myanmar. Mist clings to the forests, and rivers glint like silver threads. The air is heavy with anticipation as thousands of troops ready themselves for the day ahead. The distant rumble of war elephants echoes through the valleys. In the midst of it all rides a man whose ambition will alter the fate of nations. Bayinnaung, the lion of the Burmese Empire. Early life and formation. Born into a world of fragmented kingdoms, Bayinnaung's childhood was steeped in the politics and violence of a divided land. Taungoo, his homeland, was modest in size but brimming with ambition. Surrounded by stronger neighbors, survival demanded courage, loyalty, and cunning. From a young age, Bayinnaung displayed sharp intellect and keen observation. He learned the arts of diplomacy and war while serving King Tabin Shwedi, whose vision for a unified Myanmar inspired the young prince. Through minor campaigns and skirmishes, he honed his skills, strategy, timing, and leadership, understanding that wars are won not only by strength, but by foresight and adaptability. Rise to power. When Tabin Shwedi was assassinated, Taungoo faced chaos. Many feared collapse. Many would have fled. Bayinnaung did not. With resolve and determination, he seized control, rallying the troops and stabilizing the kingdom. He crushed rebellion swiftly. He restored loyalty among vassals. He strengthened the army, training elephants, cavalry, and infantry for campaigns that would stretch across Southeast Asia. It was during this time that he began to understand the true nature of power. Not merely conquest, but governance. Not merely fear, but loyalty. Not merely might, but vision. Expansion of the empire. From the mountains of Shan to the plains of Lan Na, from the jungles of Manipur to the rivers of Siam, Bayinnaung expanded his empire with precision. Each campaign was calculated, each battle carefully orchestrated. He combined the thunder of elephants, the discipline of infantry, and the speed of cavalry. Enemy fortresses fell swiftly. Cities surrendered before sieges began. And with each conquest, Bayinnaung integrated new lands into his empire, not merely as territories, but as functioning parts of a vast and diverse realm. The campaign against Ayutthaya. The most legendary of Bayinnaung's campaigns was his assault on the Ayutthaya kingdom of Siam. Ayutthaya was wealthy, fortified, and long considered invincible. Its warriors were disciplined, its generals seasoned. But Bayinnaung approached the campaign with strategy unmatched in Southeast Asia. He studied rivers, jungles, and mountains. He anticipated movements and adapted to unforeseen challenges. Elephants thundered through enemy lines. Infantry moved with precision. The forests became avenues of conquest. The rivers pathways of domination. The campaign was long and grueling. Yet victory was inevitable. Ayutthaya bowed to the might of Bayinnaung. Tributes flowed, allegiance was secured, and the Burmese Empire reached a scale unprecedented in the region. Administration and governance. Bayinnaung understood that conquering lands was only part of building an empire. He implemented governance systems to maintain order. Local rulers were allowed autonomy, but served under his authority. Tributes and taxes were collected, but loyalty and respect were enforced with both diplomacy and military presence. Trade thrived under his rule. Cultural exchange expanded. Religious and administrative structures were standardized to bind the empire together. He was not just a warrior. He was a ruler, a strategist, and a statesman. Personal traits and leadership. Bayinnaung led from the front. He rode elephants into battle, wearing armor that gleamed in the sun. His presence inspired awe among his soldiers and fear among his enemies. He was known for discipline, courage, and an unyielding will. Yet, he also understood subtlety and negotiation. Allies and rivals alike respected him for his intelligence, foresight, and fairness when he chose to show it. Challenges and mortality. Even the greatest empires faced the limits of time. Bayinnaung aged, and with age came new challenges. Maintaining a vast empire required vigilance, constant military campaigns, and careful management of loyal vassals. Despite his efforts, he could not halt the slow erosion of centralized power. After decades of expansion and conquest, the weight of his empire rested heavily, and cracks began to show. Death and legacy. When Bayinnaung died in 1581, the empire began to fragment. Vassals asserted independence. Rebellions arose where loyalty had waned. Yet, while borders contracted, his legend did not. He had united lands, subdued kingdoms, and demonstrated the potential of a Burmese empire beyond imagination. Bayinnaung is remembered not merely as a conqueror, but as a visionary, a man who expanded the limits of leadership, warfare, and governance. He shaped Southeast Asia in ways that would echo through centuries. The Eternal Lion. Imagine the battlefield once more. Dust rises into the air. Elephants thunder forward. Soldiers shout beneath banners of gold and crimson. At the front rides a king who refuses to accept limits. Bayinnaung did not merely conquer territories. He built an empire. He reshaped kingdoms, disciplined armies, and united peoples under a single vision. Even centuries later, his roar is heard across history. The Lion of the Burmese Empire is immortal, unstoppable, unbroken, unforgettable.